Welcome to another video coverage of This Week in Rails. I'm Dave Kimura, and today we have Greg bringing us the updates. So let's dive right in. The first one, fix the innumerable method, many, to handle all block parameters. Before, the many didn't pass the block parameters into the block, so if you're trying to call something like each with index as you're iterating through that innumerable, then you would see that the index was lost and wasn't passed through. And next, we got some quality of life improvements to the Rails framework with using the file name when printing the pending migrations instead of just the base name. And that's going to be very helpful in situations where you have multiple databases. And if you notice that you're missing a migration, instead of just having the base name, which is just the name of the migration, that could be a bit confusing on which database does that actually need to get applied to. So by using the file name, you're going to have more context on which database is missing that migration. So if you're using just a standard Rails application with only one database, then this one may not be that big of a deal for you. But for those who are using multiple databases, that could have a huge impact. The next one is to make the error highlight readable in dark mode. And with the recent change, with the error highlighting, if you are on Edge Rails and if you have dark mode on, then you could see that it could be a bit difficult to read. Personally, I'm not a big fan of dark mode outside of my editor or terminal. However, if you do use dark mode on your system, then this one could be really nice. And finally, we got an update to the missing exact template. And this one's pretty cool because as we talked about last week, if we had a situation where we are missing a template, so a request comes into our Rails application into a controller action, but we don't have a corresponding view for that, so that's our missing template, then you would have to know exactly what file was missing. And so for this update, instead of having a generic controller name and action, we're getting the actual name of the controller in action that threw the error. And reading through this one, it gave me the thought that it would be really cool if we had an actionable button to create that missing template, similar to what we have for the pending migrations, that now you can just click a button and it'll run the migrations for you right from that error page. So having something like that for the templates would be really neat. And so that's all for the updates. And again, I would like to thank all the 19 contributors who have contributed to the Rails framework over the past week. I really appreciate everyone's efforts, as well as the first-time contributors, which it does look like we had a few this month. So again, I don't produce the content for This Week in Rails, I simply do the video coverage of it. However, if you would like to receive your own email copy of This Week in Rails, you can go to world.hey.com/this.week.in.rails. Well, that's all for this episode. Thanks for watching.